It is working fine now. Okay, group by is the process where the raw data is gathered and expressed in a summary form, statistical analysis, aggregation, right? That is what the aggregation is all about. In the case of group by, we group the rows that have the same values to get the summary data. So we can choose from two types of grouping operations. One is aggregate a column by using an aggregate function, perform a row operation. Along with the aggregated value, if you wanted to display the transaction level data, that is possible with the row operation. That's what we have seen it. But in SQL query, we have something called analytical function that I will cover it as part of the SQL training. We have something called over function, partition by function. Okay, the over function is helpful to find out the cumulative total by group and cumulative for the entire data set. And also using the over function partition by and all, you can display the transaction data along with the summarized data. But when you use group by in SQL query, you cannot display the transaction level data along with the summarized data. Okay, it will display only the one-liner data. For example, look at this one. So this is my data set. This is my data set. Okay, here if you do the group by the country column, and you want to find out the total sales and total units sold or the quantity, what happens? It groups all the countries separately because you are doing the group by on the country column. All the Australia related data will get grouped together. The entire record related to Australia country data will grouped separately, and Germany and similarly other countries. And then it applies sum on the quantity and sales. So, right. So in that case, what happened? The Australia country. So 17 records are there. It gives you the sum of quantity, 17. Sum of sales, it gives you here. So it aggregates the transaction data into single record, and then it gives you the total sales and total units sold or quantity here. Supposing you want to do the aggregation based on the combination of these two columns, whichever records that have the combination of these two values are similar, it groups them. For example, in this case, we have the New Zealand and Oceania. These two values are, these two column values are similar in this record. Okay, hence the New Zealand record will get grouped with this combination, right? New Zealand Oceania record will get grouped together. And here, but this is the one, this is New Zealand, right? Yeah, this is supposed to be Oceania, okay. And here you have 13 records and 8642. Okay, this is actually Oceania, not the East, sorry. And similarly, United States and East, with the combination of these two, United States and East, we don't see any other record. But United States South, with the combination of country and region, we can see the similar rows. Hence, it'll do the grouping on this. United States South, if you see here, the total units are 10. 5 plus 5 is 10, and 8 plus 12 and almost 13 and odd, right? That's what we can see it here. You can perform group by on a single column or more than one column. Okay. But if you wanted to display, for example, if you do a aggregation on a single column, country, in that case, it gives you the total sales we made, irrespective of the regions within the country, right? It gives you the total sales we made in each country, that's all. But along with that, if you want to display this data, okay, along with this, when you do the group by on the country column, it will give you only one record for Australia. If you wanted to know what made up this sales, what makes up this sales, you want to see the breakdown of the sales, you know, display these three records, right? These three records, sales value. If you sum it, you get this one. So you need to display this value also along with this one. For that kind of scenario, you will be using this option, perform a row operation along with the aggregation. Okay. So for each and every country, if you want to see the transaction level data or breakdown for these total sales and quantity, you can display like this with the help of the perform all rows option. You need to perform all rows. Okay, that's what we are saying. Everything is fine. Now the next option is we have something called fuzzy matching. Fuzzy matching. It is something like, yeah, just now I was doing some kind of search in PowerPoint. For example, I want to find out something. Group by. If I select match case, what will happen? Wherever this word is there, group by, with the lower case, only that one it will go and search. Even if I have group by available, or I have a group by word that is available, but that is in uppercase. In that case, it will ignore that one because we have chosen this option, right? And find whole words only. Find whole words only. So sometimes, right? So if you choose this one, what will happen? Wherever it finds the combination of these two, it will go and find out. Okay, by default, I think, yeah, this is kind of a, not exactly, right? So wherever it finds group and group by, it finds that one also. Okay. But if you enable this one, what will happen? This one will become strict, right? So wherever you find the combination of group by, only that you need to tell me. We don't select it, what will happen? So wherever group is there, you can display, you can show me that one also. And along with that, the group by also you show me. Okay, that is what it says. The same thing, right? Somewhat similar to this, the fuzzy grouping. Okay, in the case of fuzzy grouping, if you wanted to ignore the case, lower case or uppercase. Somewhere I have typed Australia. The first letter was capital A, and in the next record, all the letters, right, on the entire country name for Australia mentioned in uppercase. Even in that case, if you select, ignore case, it will combine all the things into a single thing. So this is basically a data related issue. Which one? Somewhere they mentioned like this, Australia, and somewhere if they mentioned something like Australia. Okay, so these two records should not be considered as a two different records or two different countries. Okay, so here it is uppercase, here small case, but end of the day these two belong to same country, isn't it? Just because you write it in uppercase your name, that doesn't mean you are different. That name is different, right? That person is different. So it's something like this. So you have ignore case option is available. In that case, even though in your data set you have uppercase, values are available, it simply ignores. Okay, whereas uppercase or lowercase, you just simply compare whether these two are same or not. That's all. Ignore the case. That option is available with fuzzy grouping. Plus, in case any typo, for example, Australia, something like that I mentioned, Australia. I did not mention the rest of the things, something like this. Okay. So this is called fuzzy matching. In the case of fuzzy matching, what happens is somewhat matching with this word, right? Whichever word, that are somewhat matching with this one, it will still consider, as part of that group while performing the aggregation. Okay. But the fuzzy grouping, we can do it only in the Power BI Cloud Service. So in this case, the grouping the text values, what happens is you do something called similarity based on some threshold. Okay, so when you increase the threshold, it's something like exact match. When you reduce the threshold, it is not like exact match, somewhat similar. Also, you consider it. That is how it takes into account of that. Okay. So now, now the question is, how does this fuzzy grouping works? Here I mentioned about Austral and Australia. How does it works? Okay, it uses something called the machine learning algorithm, something called Jaccard similarity algorithm. Jaccard similarity algorithm to to measure the similarity between the pair of words, to measure the distance between or similarity between the pair of instances. And then it applies something called agglomerative hierarchical clustering to group instances together. So we have something called hierarchical. If you hierarchical clustering, this is very interesting feature that is available in artificial intelligence. First, it uses the similarity algorithm, Jacquard similarity algorithm. Okay, and then what it does is it uses the clustering technique called hierarchical clustering to group the values. Okay. Anyhow, I'm not going to discuss about these things. There is a formula for that. Let's ignore that one. Okay. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to. Okay, 1 second. I am not yet open the Power BI desktop. Group by. So I'm going to publish this report on cloud. So let me do one thing. I don't need this file also. I'll just go over here and then I just go to the cloud app.powerbi.com. This is my Power BI cloud service. Okay, here I'm going to publish this report. 1 second. Where is that Power BI desktop? It takes, as usual, more time to launch it. First time it will happen like this. Okay, let it be there. Let me go and check anything else is there here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the workspace and I'm going to select some workspace. Okay, don't worry about the workspace, everything. I will explain you later. Okay. Here you will find the new. See, okay, I will just go back here. Yes, Bala, I will tell you. See, this is your Power BI cloud service. Here you will find something called workspace on the left side. The workspaces are nothing but a folder in our Windows operating system. We don't keep all the files in a single folder. Logically, to identify various different set of files, we store it in different folders. So similarly, in the workspaces, right, we create different workspaces, this kind of your folder. Look here, this is my big box, this is some folder name. Let's say this is my project name, something like that. So here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to publish the report, which I developed it here. In the other alternative is you can click on the drop down here, and then you will find something called data flow. I'm going to click on the data flow. And here you will find something called define new tables, link tables. I'm going to click on add new tables. And here I'm going to use the data set. So here text dot, let me just check first. What is that file? Is that AGG? This is the data set. Okay, but here I put everything. Okay, fine. And if you see here, the United States, the region is East, they put here Australia, everything is fine. But in this case, United States, it's end with two S here, right? Ideally, it should end with a single S, two S. So in that case, what will happen is this record will be considered as a separate record. This one will not be part of your United States group because the spelling issue. But when you enable fuzzy grouping, still it will consider this record also as part of the United States group. Okay, fine. So that is what we are going to look at it now. Let me do one thing. I think this is not the file. AGG sales.cc. Correct. It's a CSV file. Okay, fine. This is what I'm trying to do it. But in this case, instead of unitary US and all the things, I USS double time I used it. I'm going to upload the file directly here. That's a CSV file. I'm going to click on text CSV. Here I'm going to specify the path name and the file name. Okay, I just go here, that one, and then I'm going to paste it here, the folder name, and I'm going to select this one, AGG sales, right click on it and rename it. I'm going to select everything, and here I just put it here. So currently we are on cloud. We need to tell the Power BI cloud, hey, you need to access this file from this folder in my laptop. Now you need to tell your laptop thing also, right? And here I'm going to use some connector here, on premises folder. Okay, and in order to the cloud, in order for this Power BI cloud service to read the CSV file which is there in my laptop, you need to have the gateway should run in your laptop. For example, I just go to the start button, gateway, on premises data gateway. I'm going to hit open. So that that is a software. I will just show you how to download it and install it. Yes, don't worry, I will show you now. And go to Google, type download Power BI data gateway, Microsoft Power BI data gateway. You just type it, and then what you do is, my God, what happened? Okay, this is the one I opened it in my laptop, right? That is the one it shows. So configurator. Okay, I'm going to the Microsoft website, and here you can see that here. So download standard mode, download personal mode. This is your Power BI gateway, data gateway. So make sure that you are going to download the standard mode. This is the one have a lot of features in it. Okay, better you download the standard mode. Click on it, and gateway install.exe. You save it, and then once the exe file gets downloaded successfully, you click on the exe file. It will open up an installation window. Click on next. That's all. Okay, you don't touch anything, any configuration. All you need to do is just click on next. The installation will be done. You will find after a while installation was successful. That's it. You close it. This gateway will run in your system. It's kind of an agent. This is kind of an agent. Sometimes what will happen if you wanted to apply for a passport, you don't have time to go to office, right? You will use some agent. So you pay him some commission. He will take all your document. You will go and wait in the passport office. You'll get it. Somewhat like this, this kind of an agent. Okay. So this agent should run in order for the cloud to read the file from your laptop, or to publish the report which you developed in your Power BI desktop to the cloud. You need to use that one. Okay, fine. Okay, there is a question from Jane. So do I have to, okay, if I upload the file in Power BI cloud service itself, do I need to have the gateway? No, you don't need it. For example, you click on the upload file, your account does not have sufficient license for OneDrive or something like that. Okay, but I have some licensing problem. Otherwise, you can upload the file directly here, but if you upload it directly there, you don't need the gateway and all. Okay. So in my case, I want the Power BI cloud service to read the data locally from my laptop. Okay, I need to tell which file and which folder it is available in my thing. This is the one I already configured. I'm going to click on edit connection. You can see that the connection name is something like that. See, gateway installed was scanned and is safe. No further action is required. Okay. No, this is another painful thing. Say no further action is required. Okay. So authentication kind. Okay. And what I'm going to do is Windows. And here you need to specify your desktop name. This is my username and this is my password. And I think I need to I think I have to specify welcome here. Yeah, this is the one. Welcome is my username and password is this one. That's all. So you need to select the authentication kind Windows and what is it? Because the cloud has to should know which laptop, what is your laptop's username and password, your laptop name, and whether it's a Windows or some other operating system. We need to specify everything. Okay, and then you click on next. Let us see if this is going to work. So I created a new connection name. The connection name itself, I should have given something else. Let it be there. Okay. So now it is checking. Okay, it is trying to connect to my laptop behind the scene. And then it will try to locate whether this file is available or not. Whatever the information that I've given is correct or not, it'll go and check it. I think desktop is the problem. Okay, now Power BI Cloud. From the cloud, it is able to read the file from my laptop. So these are the data it has in it. Now what I do is I just scroll and see, okay, fine. And I'm going to hit the transform data. When I hit the transform data, it will open up the Power Query editor on the Power BI Cloud service. So with this, what we can understand is, like in our Power BI desktop locally, we have the Power Query editor. Similarly, in Power BI Cloud also, we have the Power Query editor is available. Okay, good. So the next one I see, this Power BI desktop is still it's being opened. Okay, it takes a lot of time. Okay, leave it. This is far better. And if I scroll down here, I can see all the data, everything is fine. Look here, ABC is there next to the column name. 1, 2, 3 is there. This is my Power Query editor on cloud. Okay, fine. I'm going to click on the transform ribbon. And here I'm going to use the group by. I'm going to select group by. Here the country ID. Look here, in this case, I'm going to use the country ID. And the column name is total quantity or total sales. Okay, I'm going to say, sorry, total sales. And the what kind of operation? Sum. Okay, and sum on the sales column. And then if you want advanced, you can use advanced. Anyhow, we'll start with a simple example. Look here, you find something, use fuzzy grouping. Okay, you select this option. And if you expand it here, you will find something called similarity threshold. Ignore case, yes, by default it got enabled. Group by combining text parts. Yes, you do it. But the similarity threshold, I'm going to reduce it. When you reduce it, what will happen is, if any value is somewhat similar, for example, in one record, US is there, in another record, USS is there. If I reduce the threshold, okay, somewhat similar to US, wherever it is there, you group it. But if I increase the threshold, you are very strict. Don't, only the exact match, only when you find the exact match, you group it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce it to somewhere 0.69 or something like that. And then I'm going to hit OK, that's all. Okay, I'm not going to do anything. And if you see here, what data we have it there. And if you see here, USS is there, 4 US records are there, out of which one record, we can see that, there's a spelling mistake here. It's not a case sensitive, it's a spelling mistake. What happened? See here, when you group these three values, 2500, 7623, and this one plus this one, it is able to. Yeah, what do you mean by numbers? Is group by done only in case of text? Yeah, group by you can do it only in text column, right? You cannot use it on the numeric column. See, you can use a categorical column. So country is a category column, region is a categorical column, but this is not a, it's a quantitative column, right? So text only you can use it in the group by. And if you see here, even though this value is different from other US values, still it made it this value as part of the US, okay? And here, if you count it here, approximately 7,000 plus 15,000, almost 16,000, 20,000, 22,500 and odd, right? And if you see here, 23,000 and odd, yes, it is doing a good job. Since we have reduced the similarity threshold. If you increase the threshold, the USS will get displayed separately. This record will not be part of the other the US group. Okay, it will show it as a separate record. We don't want that to happen. But you might be asking this question here. Here itself, in my data set, I can replace it. Or in the Power Query editor itself, I can right click on his column. And then here itself, I can do replace, right? So why should I use this one? We are talking always from the millions of records. We have millions of records. You cannot keep scroll down and see. Probably, yeah, you can click on this. You can see, right? US, New Zealand, something is there. And if you find something like USS and somewhere else, again, you do, replace all the values here, and it takes time. Better you can enable the fuzzy grouping. Okay. And okay, USS, fine. And somewhere else, had they mentioned something like US, U triple S, had they mentioned it, right? Instead of U double S, they mentioned, right? Again, you need to search and replace. That will take time. Better you leave it with fuzzy grouping. It takes care of all the country IDs, somewhat similar, right? It groups them everything. But again, you need to check it out. Okay, you need to validate, you need to test it. So this is what fuzzy grouping is all about. Hope you understood what is group by and what is fuzzy grouping. Good that, if you have any doubts, get it clarified. There is no harm in asking doubts. Make mistakes only. When you make mistakes, you will learn a lot. Fine. We discussed about the group by, and also we discussed about the fuzzy grouping.